Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Muhammad Zahid bin Wan Muhammad Kamarun. My matrix number is A25B4584. And today our group will present an article review titled The Effect of Riba Avoidance and Product Knowledge on the Decision to Become a Customer of Islamic Banks. Here are my team members: Khairul Shafiq, Nur Shakira, Nur Aisha Zwani, Nurhana Humaira, Ardini Safia, and Nur Shahira. Now, article overview. The authors' names are Siti, Musyahidah, Ermawati, and Nurdin. They are all from Datuk Karamah State Islamic University of Palu, Indonesia. The article is under International Journal of Multidisciplinary Research and Analysis (IJMRA) in the year 2021, volume 4, in issue number 8. Now, research objective. The main research question is: first, does riba avoidance motivation affect the decision to become a customer of Islamic bank? Second, does product knowledge affect the decision to become a customer of Islamic bank? And third, do both factors simultaneously affect the decisions? Why this study was done? Because Muslim customers choose Islamic banks mainly to avoid riba. However, most customers lack sufficient knowledge about Islamic bank's product. This gap motivated the researchers to study both factors together.
So this part, I will talk about the background. So the first one is, this study was conducted to examine the influencing of Muslims to choose Islamic banking products. So the main focus of this study is the avoidance of riba and knowledge of Islamic banking products. Many people still have limited understanding about to choosing the Islamic banking products, even though they know riba is prohibited. Riba refers to additional interest charge in loan and debt transaction. In Islam, riba is forbidden because it is considered unjust and harmful to society. The prohibition of riba is mentioned in the Quran and Hadith, including Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 275. Muslims choose Islamic banks to avoid elements of riba in financial transactions. Islamic banks operate based on Sharia principles, such as profit-sharing system and clearly defined contracts. Knowledge of Islamic banking products influences customer decisions to use Islamic banking service. The higher the level of customers' knowledge about Islamic banking products, the more likely they are to choose Islamic banks.
Next, I'll be explaining the methodology and findings of the article. First, the methodology. The researchers used a quantitative method. They distributed 150 questionnaires to the public in Klang Valley using simple random sampling. The respondents included students, workers, men and women of different ages. Now, the finding. Most people know the basic definition as we can see on the data. But here is the problem. Awareness of real-life example is very low. Only 16% know that insurance contains riba. In fact, only 20% of respondents were aware of all 6 common activities that actually contain prohibited elements. But the good news, once they know, 92% say they will avoid these activities. This shows that lack of awareness is the main issue, not the unwillingness to follow Sharia.
Good morning everyone. This slide highlights the strengths of the study. First, the study presents clear and well-organized data through tables, statistical analysis, and SPSS, which improve the reliability of the findings. Second, the research is supported by the Quran and Hadith, especially references about the prohibition of riba, which strengthen the Islamic perspective of the study. Lastly, the findings are consistent with previous studies, showing that religiosity and product knowledge influence customers' decision to use Islamic banking services. Overall, the study is credible because it combines strong statistical evidence, Islamic reference, and support from earlier research.
Next, I will explain the weaknesses of this article. First, The study used a very small sample size, which was only 30 respondents. This may not accurately represent all Islamic bank customers. Second, the research was conducted only in Palu City, Indonesia. Therefore, the findings may not be suitable to apply in other places or countries. Third, the study focused only on two factors, which are riba avoidance and product knowledge. Other important factors such as service quality, trust, and convenience were not included. Fourth, the researchers only used quantitative methods through questionnaires. This may not fully capture the real opinions and experiences of customers. Fifth, there is a possibility of response bias because respondents may only answer based on socially or religiously acceptable views instead of their own opinions. Lastly, the study used accidental sampling, which may reduce the reliability of the results because not all customers had an equal chance to be selected.
Criticism, alternative perspective. Other reason choose Islamic banks. Number 1, good quality customer service. Customer may choose Islamic banks because they provide friendly service, fast transaction, and convenient banking facilities. Number 2, trust and strong bank reputation. A bank with a good reputation can increase customer confidence and make people feel safer using its service. And number 3, easy access and banking technology. Features such as online banking, mobile apps, and ATM accessibility may influence customer choice. Criticism, alternative perspective. Would the finding be different in Malaysia? Number 1, Malaysia Islamic banking system is more advanced. Malaysia has a well-developed Islamic banking industry, so customers may have more trust and understanding of Islamic banking service. Number 2, non-Muslim also use Islamic banks. In Malaysia, non-Muslim may use Islamic banks because they are seen as stable, transparent, and competitive. Number 3, technology and service quality are more important. Mobile banking, e-wallet, and digital service may play a bigger role in influencing customer decision.
So first, looking at its connection to our Fiqh Muamalat course, this article is highly relevant because it bridges the gap between classical legal theories and modern empirical consumer habits. And this study statistically demonstrates that the internal motivation to avoid riba heavily influences a Muslim's choice to use Islamic banking. The core takeaway connecting back to Fiqh Muamalat is the importance of the contract or akad. Consumers are not just fleeing conventional interest, they are actively making decisions based on the transparency of Sharia contracts, which satisfy the Fiqh Muamalat requirement of eliminating ambiguity. Secondly, when looking at the practical significance and implications for the Islamic finance industry, the findings emphasize that banks cannot afford to treat Sharia compliance as a mere marketing catchphrase or reliance on religious sentiment alone. The main point here is the critical role of product knowledge, because consumers need clear, accessible information about complex Islamic financial instruments to make confident decisions. Banks must actively focus on aggressive public education and literacy campaigns. In practice, this means launching transparent initiatives that explicitly break down how profits are shared, how risks are mitigated, and how these products safely fulfill the financial security needs of the public rather than just assuming customers will join based on the Islamic label. And finally, for future research directions stemming from this work, we recommend addressing the current study's limitations by expanding its geographic boundaries. Future researchers should expand their geographic and demographic boundaries beyond Palu City to include international Islamic banking ecosystems, such as Malaysia. And moving away from a purely quantitative approach to a mixed methods design that incorporates qualitative interviews would also help deeply unpack the emotional and psychological decision-making processes of consumers. And additionally, upcoming studies should also test additional modern variables alongside religious motivations, including digital banking capabilities, overall service quality, and bank reputation. All of these steps will provide a more comprehensive framework for understanding modern Islamic banking customers.
And now for the conclusion of this article review. Summary of the article findings. Both riba avoidance 66.2% and product knowledge 29.8% significantly influenced the decision to become an Islamic bank customer, together explaining 72.3% of customer decision-making. Overall assessment, the article successfully achieved its objective with strong statistical evidence and Islamic references, though it is limited by its small sample size and single location. Our group's overall opinion, Islamic banks should invest more in customer education and riba-free products, while future studies should expand to wider samples and multiple countries for more generalizable findings. That's all from us, Group 10. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.